I want to just also say a couple words about Iris, just to add that I know that Iris has been studying with Robert for 10 years, and she's been part of his life programs 4 times. And she's a certified trainer with CNVC. Iris, we are so happy and to welcome you here. I know that the work of Robert Gonzales has touched your life deeply, and it's a very special joy for you. You've shared with me to share it with people around the world. And just very shortly, before I hand the microphone to you, I want to welcome everyone who is here. We are currently 209 people from around the world together. It's super exciting. And I welcome you if you want to write in the chat just where you're from, what is bringing you to this space, some things that are alive with you at the moment, some feelings, just so we can feel the room. So you're welcome to write in the chat. And thank you, Iris, so much for being with us. And I'm handing you the facilitation for this session. See you in the end. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me here. It's such a pleasure and an honor. Thank you to NVC Rising, the Japanese Orga team, and everyone who's here. Yeah, thank you for your trust and your, I guess your willingness to grow and bring more compassion to yourself in the world. I'm gonna say a few words about myself and then about Robert, and then we dive right into it. I'm particularly honored that you invited me as a non-Japanese speaker to your Japanese festival. It's kind of, wow, you're making this effort to translate it and to now hear me in an interpreted version. And I'm really, appreciating that. It means so much to me. And whilst I'm really happy and grateful being here, it also comes with great sadness. It's the sadness that Robert is no longer with us and not able to do this himself. I'm sure he would have loved to be here and convey his findings and explorations himself, and they were always evolving, so there wasn't an end to that. That's very present. And to me, it's actually the first time after his passing that I'm speaking to such a big crowd about living compassion. So it's a very special moment. And to be honest, I have him here with me to support me. I've got his picture here to be with us today. I guess most of you have experienced Robert from what I heard. I guess you're here more, so it's more of a reminder than a new teaching. And I'm wondering if those of you who have experienced him before, either live or online, could you just raise your hand just physically, just so we get an impression how many of you have worked with him in person, online before? Okay, so it's not everybody, but a lot of people, right? Okay, so for some of you, some of it will be new, and for others, it will be a reminder of his teachings. A few more words about me. I'm also the co-founder of an organization we call Klarheit, which is a kind of word creation of clear and white meaning spacious. And to us, that is the essence of the inner state that we want to live and act from. And I hope that this session also contributes to that. We are the co-organizer of the German-speaking NVC online festival. So it's so amazing how things go together now here. Different festivals start to connect. And we also do in-person festivals and other NVC activities. And in terms of Robert's work, during the pandemics, Robert Gonzales and also Robert Krzyznik, they had handed over the facilitation of the Awakening to Life intensives to us, to me and 3 others, since they couldn't travel anymore, but we still wanted the work to go on. And there is a small group of people working in the background to figure out how we can make his body of work also available in the future to as many people as possible. So it will go on, and we're still figuring out together with his wife the details and the practicalities. So you and others will be able to learn a lot more, and they'll make sure we make materials available and all that. Yeah, about Robert. Those of you who know him know that. For the others, Robert has worked with Marshall Rosenberg for many, many, many years. And as his exploration of NVC and spirituality deepened over the years, a clarity emerged in him about ways to cultivate a daily practice, really, of living compassion. And it's a practice of compassionately embracing all of life. And I guess that's a kind of dimension that for me made a huge change to no longer separate in good feelings and bad feelings and needs being fulfilled or not fulfilled, but to embrace it all. And during his lifetime, he touched thousands of hearts, I guess, and he had a great impact, not only in my life, but I guess on many, many people's lives, and particularly with his live programs and Awakening to Life intensives, and also his immersion program that he did just before passing. Yeah, I'm still a bit nervous trying to slow down. I want to check with interpretation if I'm too fast or if the pace is okay.
A little slower would help. Thank you.
Right.
Iris, yes.
So I'll slow down. Yeah, which is perfect fit, since, one thing I remember of Robert is, as someone shared before, it was this incredible presence and also slowness I experienced in him. And today I would like to focus on two foundational practices of living compassion. And one is cultivating and dwelling in the beauty of needs. That's something that Robert brought to me and to us. It's this quality of life, this quality of needs that, as he put it, that manifests as longings or yearnings, as something we long for, something life is longing for. I very much love this, how he puts his kind of definition of needs. And it's this quality and he has so much talking about living life in its fullness, and not just to pick out the things that we like, but really experience it all. And with that comes the ability to develop simple presence. And it sounds really simple. And those of you who practice it know that, okay, sometimes it's not so easy still. And yet that's a very important element. And, I just want to make you aware, and you've already noticed, what I'm sharing here is what I heard Robert say and how I sense that it's kind of digested through myself. So someone else might put it differently, and some of the experiences might live differently in yours. So, and just that's what he always wanted, that we take it in and we see what changes for us and then bring that out again. He never wanted this to be, this is living compassion and this is it not. So I'm also inviting you to just take it in and let it work and make your own version kind of out of that. So why living compassion, or why the beauty of needs? What Robert used to say is that his work is based on NVC, but not limited to it. And how I put it, for me, like, why beauty of the needs? Why would we need this? Is that in practice, I experience it by myself, and so others doing it a lot, that needs so easily become a demand. For example, if someone shares, I have a need for appreciation, it can easily mean, give me appreciation, right? So it's not a longing, it's nothing beautiful. It's you, I need it, and you have to give it. Or I can easily become go into a victim state and say, oh, poor me, I don't get appreciation and no one is giving it to me and everyone is so mean to me. And there's a kind of danger in that. Or it can also easily become like very self-demanding. I am responsible for my needs, so I need to manage on my own. I need to give appreciation on myself. So I'm becoming quite demanding and even violent towards myself. And what Living Compassion offers is this compassionate embracing of it all, of this quality. In this case, let's stay with appreciation, like, I connect with this quality of appreciation and I can sense into like, what does it mean to me? And how does it feel? And when do I experience it? Rather than connecting to the pain or the suffering or the lack, right? So this is really turning inwards. And in order for you to experience this, and probably some of you have done this before, I would like us all to invite for a whole group exercise. So something that each of you can do right now, wherever you are. If you're driving, it might be time to stop now. And for you others, you might want to, try this out and dive deeper into the quality. So you can experience or be reminded of what's meant by beauty of needs. And I would love to do this with the quality of love that probably most of us can connect to. So again, I'm trying to slow down, still a bit nervous. I'm inviting you to close your eyes, to find a comfortable position. Maybe uncross your legs, if you have objects in your hands, just put them away. Close your eyes and connect to yourself. If there's many thoughts in your mind, just let them pass by like clouds. Don't hold on to them. For some people, it helps to focus on the breath. To connect to yourself. And now I'm inviting you to imagine a person that you're feeling love for. Could be a love partner, could be a child, a parent, a friend. It can also be a pet, some being that you're experiencing love with or towards. And now try to make that experience of love as alive as possible. Picture that being, that person or pet, and allow yourself to fully feel the love. And there might be thoughts coming up, just let them pass by like clouds. And as you're picturing this other being, how does it feel in your body? How is your breath? Your body temperature? What kind of body sensations are you aware of in your body? You don't need to name them, just try and feel them. Fully allow whatever is there. And feel it as much as you can. Fully experience that quality of love in you. Now try to stay connected to that quality of love. You're still feeling it, sensing it, experiencing it. And slowly let go of the person or the being you connected it to. Stay in that quality of love and let the person or being go. Now, how does that feel? You're feeling, experiencing pure love. Now try to stay connected to that quality of love as much as you can. As you bring your awareness back to the group and you open your eyes. And I'm inviting a few people to share their experience. What was your experience like? And yeah, to honor our Japanese hosts, I would particularly invite people speaking Japanese, living in Japan to share. And I'm aware that it always comes with a little delay of interpretation. So yeah, I'd love to hear 2 or 3 voices. How was that for you? How was your experience? And I think the easiest way is if you raise your hand, the digital one. And you can do that if you go on the bottom to reactions, and then you can click raise hands. So that way you will pop up as the first picture. So yeah, for anyone who'd love to share some experience. I see Kelly, and again, I'd love to also invite Japanese speaking people to dare and speak up. It can be sometimes frightening to speak up when the speaker speaks a different language. Yeah, but please feel free to raise your hand and share. And now I'll start with Kelly, and then let's see, maybe there's 1 or 2 more people wanting to share. So Kelly, what was your experience?
Thank you, Iris. I am in North Carolina visiting my mother, who lives in a nursing home. She has dementia. And so I brought her in because often in this situation, I don't feel love. I feel caregiver experiences. And when she was part of the experience, love felt very sad because of the change. And it was really an interesting experience when she left the experience and I was left with just love, I really noticed the sadness also left. But there was a quality that stayed. And I hadn't had that experience before. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that the quality could stay, and it even sounded like it was more pure, maybe, with the person going away, and also making space for the sadness, but then also the sadness could could pass, and then got the space.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, so I'm really curious to hear one or two more voices. Yeah, let's see. Kanako, is that how you pronounce your name? Hi.
Yes. Yes, can I talk in Japanese?
Yes, sure, you will be translated. Yeah.
So I'm joining from Tokyo. My name is Kanako. So I'm in the opposite experience from Kelly. So I'm a little bit at a loss. So I tried to feel the quality without naming the quality. So I try to think of my mother, but I imagined her going away. And for me, it was really scary experience, and I felt shaking of my body, and I couldn't really feel the lingering the resonance of the love. I'm still feeling the scary, sad pain. So I'm finding really difficult to feel the quality when I lose the subject.
Thank you. And I'm wondering, as you're sharing this, was there a thought connected to letting your mother go of that experience? And if yes, what was the thought, if you're conscious about that, aware?
I tried to focus on my body, and you actually guided us to really feel the quality. So I think I was really focused on my sensation of my body, but I actually felt the tingling on my skin when I thought about her going away. So it wasn't really thinking, but I'm still feeling the bodily sensation.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I'm curious, and I think that's you're probably not the only one who had this kind of experience in this group. I'm actually pretty sure. Particularly in the beginning, many needs or qualities are attached to persons that we experience that quality with a lot, right? So to me, the needs or the qualities, it's not something that someone gives to me or can take away, but it's something that's always there. But sometimes I lose the connection. I cannot feel the love. It's there, but I cannot feel the love. And other people, they can support us, kind of build the bridge that we can feel it again. And in your case, it seems like your mother is a very strong bridge. She can help you accessing this quality of love. And yeah, I'd love to invite you to keep trying and see if there's maybe also, because sometimes there is a thought, if I now let go of my mother, then she will be gone forever, or there's maybe some fear behind, and it's just for that little moment that you let her go. So want to invite you and others as well to kind of play a little with that. Thank you so much for sharing. So is someone else wanting and willing to share? I see Susanna. Yeah, just unmute yourself. Yeah.
Hi, could you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Susana. I'm Japanese, Brazilian, Canadian, living in Boston, in Lisbon, Portugal. So I brought my daughter, who currently lives in Houston, Texas. So she's far from me. So when I brought her in this exercise, I felt really a kind connection, and I felt in my body a kind of warmth feeling, and I stay with that feeling. But when you ask to let her go, I start to feel tension in my body. So it was really difficult for me to keep the quality of love. It was almost like he placed by a little bit of concern, fear of having a daughter far from me, and especially now she's in a transition time, so she's alone in a city with, she knows some friends, but you know, that mother feeling. So coming back to the quality of love, I think it stays there, but it's really physically, I could not feel the previous warmth. When you ask me to bring somebody I love. So it's almost like losing that quality and replacing it with concern or fear for her well-being, let's say.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I love what you just shared, that just shows you said you replaced it by concern or fear. So that the quality of love got lost, and instead fear and concern came. And that's the practice we can do. Can we track, oh, now concern is coming, and I can decide to let go of the concern and stay in the love. Or I can decide to let go of the love and stay in the concern. So thank you for sharing that. That to me is so clearly shows how often that works, that one new thing comes, and then the quality that's truly important. And my guess is that if you had to choose, do you want to stay in the quality of love or rather in concern and worry, which one would you choose? And with this practice, we can get to a place where more and more often we can make a conscious choice about which way to go. So thank you so much. And I see another hand. We're still taking one more voice, and then keep going. Hilde from Netherlands.
I don't know if I've unmuted myself now. Probably.
Yes, I can hear you.
I did the exercise wrong at the start in a different way, because the person that came to my mind was somebody that I was very upset with, because I just heard something about what she did that I really do not appreciate. And so I started to focus and try to feel the love, and it was difficult to look into the feeling, because then my other self sort of stepped in and said, try to find somebody that I love very much, that it's easy for me to love, to feel love for. And then I had some difficulty finding these other people because I could not choose.
Yeah.
So there was some confusion. And what surprised me, one thing that surprised me was I thought that I would sort of be overwhelmed with the feeling of love as soon as I focused on somebody else that I know and love so much. But that didn't really happen. I seemed to be playing around or trying to find my way trying to fit the quality or the feeling to a person, trying to match them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It always seems to me as if I did the exercise the other way around. So very sorry if this is very confusing.
No, thank you for sharing. I'm very grateful you're sharing this, because again, I'm pretty sure that you're speaking for quite some other people who might have made the same experience, and where the mind kicks in and then things go different. But which person to choose? Oh, that one. No, rather that one. Oh, is that the right one? Oh, am I doing the exercise right? Oh, now I lost it. But is that love? Oh, no, I don't really feel love. So the moment the mind kicks in, you're very often losing the feeling and then the sensation or the quality. And yeah, thank you for bringing that up. And I'm going to follow up on that. And again, I'm pretty sure you spoke for many people here in the room. I'm quite sure if you would ask for a raise of hands, it would be about half of the people who had this kind of thoughts going around. Thank you, Hilde. And so there's nothing about doing it wrong. You know, it's more that's an experience, and you observed yourself making that experience, and now you can take it from there. So it's an experience. Thank you. Yes, I'd like to speak a little bit about the mind, because as I said, I guess that's true for a lot of us, and that's a big part of this work, of Robert's body of work, is to learn to differentiate what is a thought, what am I thinking, and what am I actually feeling, what's in my body. And I don't know if that translates to Japanese or how, but in English, the word embodiment to me makes so much sense. It's really in the body. It's, you know, something where you can listen to your body, you can sense it, you have this physical support, let's say. That's somehow different to what the mind is telling us. So what Robert is proposing, or living compassion, is that NVC is a practice of mindfulness with myself. It's not so much about talking to someone else, and sometimes it's misled with nonviolent communication, has the word communication in the expression, and sometimes that leads to people focusing a lot on the communication on the outside. And what we are inviting here is to really check first inside and be mindful with what's happening, and practicing what am I noticing. And what Hilde just shared, also the others, was, yes, you were focusing, you noticed what was happening. Maybe it was different to what you expected when you heard my invitation. Maybe the mind was expecting how it's supposed to be, how you're supposed to feel, what is supposed to happen. And what you shared was what you really experienced, and that's sometimes very different to what we're expecting. So it's really about this inner experience, and to differentiate the thinking and the feeling. And what it's also about is to differentiate more and more the outer experience from the inner experience. So often something happens in the outside, and then we don't like it, and then we try to change the outside, right? Maybe that's just me, but I guess that's very true for many people. Something happens, I don't like it, so I try to change it. And that's one option, of course. I'm not saying don't try to change anything in the outside. And yet what Living Compassion is inviting to focus or to differentiate. Okay, that's what's happening outside, and that's what's happening inside of myself. And by that, to more and more understand how do I react, and also more and more find out what is it that's really, really important to me in terms of qualities, in terms of needs. Okay, I mean, it would be, of course, it would be nice if everyone would just be doing what I say. My life might be perfect, you know, it would be so easy, but it's quite unlikely to happen. So what I can do is to turn inward and to focus on the qualities and to learn to navigate these inner experiences into, as if we create a map or kind of go for a walk inside ourselves and look at, oh, what is there and what is there? Oh, here's a longing. And there's a quality I'm missing. And there's a quality I'm enjoying. Rather than speaking to someone else. And we have in NVC, we have all these lists about feelings and needs, and they're really, really helpful, particularly in the beginning to get started, to find names, it's so helpful in the beginning to them, oh yeah, I'm stressed. Okay, yeah, now I understand. And what we do with Living Compassion, or even with with the needs, is to, and also the feelings, to go to look behind the words. So it's no longer a word on the list, which is in the beginning helpful, but sometimes can become a trap, because I'm feeling nervous, and then I tick it off because I know how my mind has a word for how I'm feeling. And what Living Compassion is inviting to really sense, to feel it. Wow, what does it mean when I say I'm nervous, or when I say I have a longing for love or appreciation or support? Like, how does it feel? What does it mean to really use your whole body to find out what that means to you, rather than just your mind having a definition of what is needed? Yeah, I'm going to stop here briefly before I go to the next part, just to check if that resonates, if that sounds familiar to what you've heard from Robert, or what resonates in you, or if it's new to you. What resonates, or where there's questions. I think, Isumi, you're tracking the chat, so I don't know if there's questions that I'd like to share.
I don't think so.
Okay. So yeah, if maybe again 1 or 2 people care to share what's alive right now after this, what I've shared. And again, I'd like to explicitly invite people whose native language is not English to dare and speak and share what's alive in you. And again, if you go to the bottom of your screen with your mouse, there is a button called reactions, and there you can push raise hand. So we'll see you. And of course, others are invited too. Just want to explicitly encourage non-native English speakers to speak. So either it's totally clear to everyone, or it doesn't make no sense at all. I'm not sure where you're at. Right, so if there's no question, let's just go to the next part that I'm finding so relevant. So this, if you allow, like if you fully feel, I see Anna. So is that the previous part? I just pause here and listen to Anna first.
Yeah, I'd love to share. I'm connecting from Tokyo, and then hearing what you shared after the exercise. What's resonating with me right now is that don't land on words and then don't stop there, but see behind the words. Don't label things and be it done. So I have this one question in my mind. My emotions, feeling within me, I have this big question. Can I articulate all these feelings and emotions that arise within me? And my experience tells me that most of the time, I can put them in words, but is it really perfectly matching to exactly what I'm feeling? Maybe, the words are not super accurately describing, but so there's limitation in words, right? But we're so used to being okay with roughly accurate, or just, but there's a certain things that's spilling out of these boxes that we call words, right? So if we are to fully embrace what's within me, the words are not the perfect tools. So I still have this question. So I guess your talking told me that we don't need to land with the words, and we don't need to make it as the goal. And I feel much safer that you reminded us that. Thank you. This was my sharing.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out again. It's so, words are so limited. And it's kind of confusing to our mind, because so much is about words and speaking and writing. And when it comes to feelings and needs, it's so limited. And it can, I'm convinced that words can always only be a kind of, almost helpless try to describe what's within us. It's a way to try and stay connected with others, to express, to kind of find out, are you experiencing something similar? And yet we will never know. So I'm really happy that landed and reminded you. It's not so much about what I tell others, but that I allow myself to feel it and to not stop it and to not name it. Because sometimes even by naming a feeling, it changes, because then a thought comes on top of it. So for example, I feel something and I label it as sad. I'm sad. But then a thought comes in, but you're not supposed to be sad. Why are you sad? There's so many good things happening in your life. So why are you sad? And that moves me away from really fully experiencing and embracing what's inside myself, what's in my body. So thank you, Anna, for that. Words are really limited. I fully agree. And my experience is, even the more I'm sensing, the less words I find. So thank you. Thank you for that. And it's really, the core is about allowing whatever is there. It doesn't matter if it has a name. It doesn't matter if my inner voices are judging it or not. What's there is there. And the kind of art, Robert never used that word, but to me, the art is to try not to change it, just to compassionately embracing it. And the moment I try and change it, something internally just withdraws, because it doesn't want to be changed. It just, whatever is there, life wants to be there. And it doesn't, so very often we try to fix something or change something, or even giving or receiving empathy. Is it really to allow space? Or is in the back of our mind, I'm not getting empathy, so it's going to go away and I feel better again. So it's kind of really tricky. And my experience is that this fully allowing and compassionately embracing, it really supports, that is what supports transformation in areas of inner experience that were previously even inaccessible. There might be stuff stored in myself that I don't even know of, and that I don't know how to get there. And by simply allowing things, it becomes more spacious, and things can move and transform. But then the moment I make it a goal for it to change, it might not lead to transformation. That's kind of tricky. Yeah, so that's the two elements, the beauty of needs, and really cultivating the fullness of the needs, and not to focus on, oh, I have a need for, I don't know, safety, but I don't have it now, so it's not good. But hey, I have a need for safety, and how does that feel, and how is that important to me? And because when there's a longing, or when we are sensing, what I just define here as a lack, there's something very beautiful behind. There's something, otherwise we wouldn't care. If it wasn't important, we wouldn't even notice, right? So can we really dive into the fullness and cultivate the fullness and remind ourselves, what is it that we're longing for? It's something beautiful. And it's the thoughts that we add onto that make us suffer. So the pure quality doesn't make us suffer. There can be sadness though. There can also be pain, and it's often called sweet pain. And I'm loving that. And maybe some of you have experienced that when sometimes you're just sad about something. You're maybe crying, mourning because you lost maybe a dear one or something that's really important to you. And they can be so beautiful. Mourning can be so beautiful, and pain can be beautiful, as long as I don't add thoughts to it or meanings or judge myself for, yeah, but now you've been mourning for 2 weeks already and it's enough now, stop it. That's when the suffering comes in, right? And if we manage to balance out our thoughts and to be more in the feeling, that's when things can move and have this pure quality. And yeah, just before this, I read a few lines of Robert, and then I want to quote them here. He says, NVC is the language of the heart. And we are not truly able to live the language unless we are able to access the heart. And yeah, how can we speak from our heart if we don't access it? And that's the invitation here, to really fully go into the heart and then connect from there, and then use the language. And you've probably all made this experience that if you're not in a connected state and you, let's say, use the 4 steps of NVC, but you don't really want connection, you're not going to get connection. That are probably people rather get angry about you for, don't do that to me. But the moment you're really connected to what's important to you, the words even don't matter so much anymore, because the energy is conveyed. Yeah, and as we deepen, what I find very often is that when I'm in contact, because I now shared it's a lot about our inner experience, and not so much about speaking, but then there is other people in our lives, of course, and we relate to them. We're all social beings. So when I meet a person, there is something that comes up. And then again, do I put it on the other person? Every time I see you, I get angry. So it's your fault. You make me angry. Or can I, again, first observe myself? Wow, what's happening? I see this person, and then some tension comes up, and then my heartbeat changes, and my breath is not as deep or is faster. Can I observe first without judging again? Just observing it, allowing it, and then meet this person anew. And as we deepen this self-compassion, this allowance, that's when inner transformation can occur, and we can become aware of blockages we're having that keep us from acting in integrity with the other person, that keep us from being our true self, all of ourselves. Because there's so many things that are in between us and that we don't allow. The moment we block a feeling or a quality that's important to us, we block some life energy that cannot flow within us, and also cannot meet the other person then. So again, I want to make a brief pause to check in with you. See if there's something in the chat or if there's any questions or something that resonates before I go to the last part of my input, and then we do another exercise together, practice. So if there's anything that resonated or didn't resonate, or questions about, or just would like to share from your experience of listening to what I'm sharing, please raise your hand and share. And yeah, this sharing, I know it's kind of scary to share in front of maybe at 213 people, and yet very often it helps others also to find words, put words to their experiences. So I see two hands, Masaki first, and then Tomo. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Masaki, please unmute yourself. Or Masa, which one's here?
はい、ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Thank you, Iris. So things that Robert taught me, it's been remembered, well, recalled, but I'm actually getting this a little bit of a different angle, perspectives. So this is very, very fresh, and it's a big reminder what I'm hearing, but at the same time, it's really fresh. And I'm actually feeling this, tears swelling. So I'm very grateful for this space and for this time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm hearing that there are a lot of things you have heard from Robert. It's a reminder, and yet, yeah, you said something fresh, I presume. Just hearing it from someone different changes it. But also what I noticed with Robert, having spent lots of time with him, that, I mean, he said to himself, I keep repeating myself. I keep saying the same thing all over again. But then to me, hearing it 6 months later, just basically the same thing already changed, because I could integrate things and work with them. And then I heard a recording of the very same thing. I was like, wow, did he say that? I have never heard that before. And of course I had, my ears had heard it, but it didn't integrate. So very happy that that's contributing. That's how I take it to further integration. Thank you for sharing. Tomo, you have raised your hand. Please feel free to share, unmute yourself so we can hear you.
So the inner experience, the bodily sensation, and let them all be okay. So don't label them with words, feel. So that it's, I guess that's the same as the mindfulness, and I'm practicing it. So I could actually get there relatively easy. But so expressing needs, conveying your needs to others is the big sense of NVC understanding. So, but for you to convey the needs to others, you definitely need words, right? And then if you're to articulate them in words, you definitely need thinking. So how can I bridge these two states? You not putting things in words, but then you come to this stage of you delivering your needs to others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the only thing we can do is to express them in the form of needs. So what helps bridging the two state?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any idea? Or
yeah, thank you for bringing it up. See, that's so important that people share, so I can pick up and focus on different issues. Yeah, so to me, it's not an either or. It's not either you feel and you don't think and speak, or you think and speak but you don't feel. What's important to me is making conscious choices. When do I look kind of inward and I'm sensing and feeling? And what of that then do I want to express and put into words? So there's no good or bad. I love the mind. It's I couldn't be here, without speaking, without the mind. I would maybe stay here in silence and feel inside, but that might be a bit boring for you to witness. So to me, it's really both, and it's about kind of training ourselves to not let the thoughts decide everything and forget about the feeling, but to pause and sense and feel, and then take it into words and express as good as I can. Does that make sense to you? I don't know where you're gone. Maybe just does that help you to really have both and just take conscious choices? Okay.
ありがとうございます。私が響いたのはトレーニング。
Thank you. So it's a training. We need to train ourselves. So the word of training and is what's resonating with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really some workouts. It's kind of muscles that we can train, almost literally. So thank you for bringing this up. We have 2 more hands, and after that, I would love to transition to a practice. So I have CS.
Yeah, Iris, thank you. This is Catherine. I'm really appreciating the reminder about do we really want to connect, or do we just want what we want? Because I do, in particular, for my husband, hear a lot, don't do that to me. And so I was grateful for that reminder. And it takes so much conscious energy to pause, to connect, to self-connect, to listen, to hear another, and have all of that, integrate all of that, hold on to all of that, and hold on to a desire for connection, to offer empathy to self and others. And often I just want to get to, what it is that I want. And it takes too much time to do all this. And yet I also, this is something that I want to integrate into my life. And so I guess, yes, it takes a lot of training and practice, but thank you for that reminder to pause, sense, feel, and connect. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine, for sharing. Also to being honest that your husband sometimes tells you, don't do that to me. And I guess that's pretty much the experience of most NVC practitioners in the beginning until we fully integrate it. So thanks for your honesty. I'm wanting to pick up on the issue of time. It does take time to sense into it and to get more clear. But then to fight with someone, to argue, or to be distressed or unclear, that also takes a lot of time. It's just that we are not so much aware of it or conscious, or it's more familiar maybe. We're more used to spend time being in a bad mood because someone did something to us we didn't like. But if we use that time to self-connect, I guess we'd still have a lot of time, maybe even more than before. And yes, it's until it's fully integrated. It's practice. And I don't even know if there's a state of full integration, how Robert put it, and that helped me a lot. He said, with the practice, I'm getting, the triggers are getting less, so I'm less often triggered, and the duration I'm stuck in the trigger gets shorter, and also the intensity gets less. But he never said that he never ever gets triggered, so that's not the goal, but intensity gets less with the commitment to really try and sense into it. Thanks, Catherine, for sharing. So Paula is next.
This that I'm going to share has a lot to do with really noticing what's going on within myself and being able to, when I'm with someone, let go of particular very, very strong emotions that are not helpful, that can get in the way of compassionate listening. And so it's an incident of a daughter being in crisis. And so my emotions are a lot of fear, a lot of sadness, and great love and compassion for her. And so I find it very helpful for you to talk about the letting go of a feeling and choosing to stay with the feeling, because when I'm listening to her, just listening to her share, I find it more beneficial if I let go of the fear. So I'm not a fearful mother listening, but a very compassionate, loving mother listening. So the fear doesn't emanate from me, but what is emanating from me is compassion and love. And so this is one thing that I have been doing for a while. And even when I'm not with her, I can like experience this great fear when she's in the crisis for her. And I can I know it's there. I can feel it. I can acknowledge it. And I can give it to someone else. I can give it to my God. I can let another person know about the fear. And yet then when I am in thought with my daughter and praying for her, I want to let go of that fear and just praying with her, thinking about her out of love, out of compassion, and out of hope. So it just ties in so much to what you've presented so far that I wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carla, for sharing. Yeah, it sounds like you're really at a place of choice. Like when you're with your daughter, you choose to rather connect to love and to the care. And it's so important that also at other times we give space to the fear and to all the other feelings or energies that are there. Because I guess the fear comes out of care. Because if you wouldn't care about your daughter, why would there be worry or fear, right? So there's something really important to you that brings us back to the beauty of needs. There's something very beautiful behind that. And in order for that to be able to emerge, also the fear needs, to be embraced and can be there. Yeah, thank you. And I'm hearing you're at a place where you can choose where you want to focus on. Thank you. Right. So I would like to do a practice, a demo here, and I will announce what we're going to do. And after that, we're going to have a short bio break before we do the actual demonstration. So you can be fully present. Some of you might want to go to the loo or get some water. So I'm going to just make the introduction now. Then we have a little break, and then we do the practice first as a demonstration. And then if you want to have the chance to experience it yourselves. So what I would like to invite one person to volunteer. I hope it's not too scary for you. I hope someone finds the courage. And again, preferably someone speaking Japanese, just again in honor of you hosting us and hosting me. And I would love to support you through a 5 or 10 or maybe 5 or 7 minute process of embracing what is. So there's nothing you need to prepare, just bring yourself and your willingness to really sense into what is now, and together with hopefully my support to embrace whatever is there. It could be nervousness or fear or joy or whatever is there, to have a kind of experience. So maybe during the bio break right now, if you could think about it, and if you feel ready, just raise your hand or put your name in the chat so that we know you'd be willing to do this 5 or 10 minutes with me here in front of the group. And after that, you will have, those of you who want to, you will have the chance to practice yourself, to experience that, or to remind yourself, because many of you have experienced that, and to kind of practice and to strengthen that muscle. So yeah, let's do, I don't know, is 3 minutes to German? Couple of minutes, maybe just a few minutes. And maybe we can have a gong or something, so you know when the 3 minutes are over, and then just come back. And if you're willing to do the demonstration with me, please raise your hand or put your name in the chat. All right, so we do a short break now. Michael or Miho, how is my pace for translation? Sorry, I didn't check in between.
Thank you for asking.
I think that was good. Michael, how did you find it?
I lost you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, Miho said that it sounded okay, and yeah, I think towards the beginning was a little bit challenging for me, but I think it got slower, and I thank you for checking.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I tried to consciously slow down, and the nervousness was away, so that makes it easier. Thank you so much for your interpretation. So valuable. Appreciate it.
I guess Michael was able to catch up most of his words. I was hearing both, and she managed to translate almost everything.
Miho, I'm not sure if you spoke to me. It was very low volume.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, much better.
Yes, so I was hearing both. So Michael was able to translate almost everything you said. So yeah.
Great.
That was fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for encouraging Japanese speaking participants to raise their hands and to participate.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. What a reminder.
Iris, there was a question in the chat.
Yes, thank you.
About what does it mean, the language of the heart? I think Corey asked this question, and I can try to answer it in the chat, but it would be maybe nice if you make space for it if you're able to.
Someone said something similar. Could somebody put that quote from Robert in the chat, or tell us where we can find it? Something like NVC is the language of the heart. Continues. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was me who put that question in there. It was just because I'm trying to, my mind needs notes. But I couldn't write fast enough. So I just wrote down that Robert said NVC is a language of the heart. We blah, blah, blah. And then fully go to the heart and then use the language. So I think I got the gist of it. Where if we want to speak from the heart, we need to live in the heart and not just talk about it or walk around it. Or so that's just my interpretation. But I would love to sort of, if you could just repeat or just a full quote. That's it.
Yes, I can put it in the chat what I took as his quote. So it's in the chat. NVC is the language of the heart. We are not truly able to live the language unless we are able to access the heart. That's what he said or wrote. All right, so that's about 3 minutes. All right, so I would then love to do a demonstration of a process Robert called compassionately embracing, that some of you know. And yes, I see 2 people have raised their hands. And again, I just would like to check, very much appreciating that you're daring to do that. I just want to check if someone speaking Japanese is willing to do it, just so Japanese people have the original voice for once, because I guess it's quite tiring to keep listening to English and the interpretation. So I'm just guessing that Avital and Barira, you don't speak Japanese, am I right? No, I'm just guessing. But we have, how do we pronounce you? Mura-chan, is that your name? Mura-han? How do you pronounce it? Oh, and we have Naomi.
It is.
Hi. So how do you pronounce your name?
It's a Mura-chan.
Mura-chan. Thank you. Thank you. So Mura-chan, you're willing to spend like 5-6 minutes with me to demonstrate this process of compassionately embracing, is that right? Cool. And I see Naomi has raised your hand too. Thank you. So I'm gonna work with one person for now. Okay. So Mura-chan, just for now, take a deep breath. And yeah, try to land as fully in the moment as you can. And if you're willing to share, what's alive in you right now, in this very moment, as you're sensing into it? What is alive?
Well, I have this, like banging around my heart. I feel very unstable or anxious, or yeah.
And can you just allow this to be there? Just feel your heart and what you call nervousness. Just allow it, embrace it, let it be there. Would you mind sharing how is it to allow these sensations to be there?
So it's settling. It's actually becoming quieter. And I get the sense that I am getting this permission, and tear is actually swelling in my right eye somehow.
Yeah, something is changing, and now just allow what is there now. The feeling settled, the tears.
And
then the around the stomach, I feel a little warm and a little like humidity, and I feel a little bit of a moist with my right hand, which is on my belly.
Yeah, thank you. So just stay with that and kind of stay present with whatever is there. And now as you check in again, what is there now? Might be the same, it might be something different.
Again, when you said that I can be with this, staying a little bit, I get emotional. I feel as if I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, and just stay with that sensation. I might cry, and there's no expectation that you have to cry or are not allowed to cry. Just stay with however that feels like right now. What emerges now, if you mind sharing?
お腹のあたりが暖かくて、
So my stomach is warm, but I have this fresh breeze blowing around my chest.
Stay with that. Stay with that glowing in your chest. What emerges? What is now?
胸のあたりに豊かさというのを感じています。
I have this richness swelling around my chest. It's just really rising from the bottom.
Yeah, just allow that. Invite it. What's holding your heart?
今ね、頭がズキズキビートのように響いて
I'm
る。
actually getting this beating in my head. It's resonating around my head, but I am ready to let it be there. I feel this readiness and for me to let that be there.
Right, there's a beat and you can allow it to be there. It's nothing to be changed. Just be aware of the beat and let it flow. Just an expression of life.
「今はこのままでいいんだろうか」っていう不安の声がお腹のあたりから聞こえてきます。
But now there's this little whisper coming from my stomach saying, "Can I stay here like this longer?"
Yeah. And can you allow the question to just be there? It's yet another form of life expressing itself. It seems something is coming up. You want to share?
そのままでいいって言われるたんびに涙が出そうになる。
Michael, you're on the wrong channel for translation.
All right, thank you. So every time you tell me that it's okay, let it stay there, I feel like crying. I feel my tears.
Mm-hmm.
自分で自分に OK を出したときにはそこまで得られないんだけど、アイリスからそう言われると本当に体が込み上げてくる。
Right. So when I let myself, when I allow myself to stay, that permission is not as powerful as the permission given by you.
Okay. Thank you, Marichan. I'd like to close it here for the demonstration. Thank you so much for showing yourself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
はい。はい、ありがと
Thank you.
Thank you. So that was a brief demonstration.
これ非常にoh, sorry, apologies.
A brief demonstration of how it could feel like to, or look like to allow whatever is there. And there is no goal, there is no aim. It's really about being present and seeing what shows up. So my invitation is for those of you who would like to experience something similar as Moritz-chan, to now go into small groups and then decide who goes first, and then one person is inviting, and the questions have been in the chat. Maybe you can post them again. It's basically this set of questions: what is alive in you now? And then keep inviting the person. Can you allow this? And can you feel it? And what emerges now? So it's basically always the same set of questions to support the other person to stay in that space of allowing, of embracing. And since it's in the now, there's not going to be an end. So we're going to put an artificial end on that. We'll have, let's do 15-minute breakouts. And so you can share the time. At least 2 people will have the chance to share and have space. So you decide in your groups of 2 or 3 who is holding space and who is sharing. And then after half of the time, you will swap, and one person can be an observer in the group, and you can get a first impression of how that is. Yes, if you do not want to be in a small group, put your 2 dashes and can stay here together, or you leave, or you come back in 20 minutes for, in 15 minutes for the wrap up, whatever you feel like. So that would be the invitation for about 15 minutes to dive into this space of compassionately embracing. And as you saw, it's really slow. It doesn't need to be funny or exciting or entertaining. Whatever is there is allowed and invited to be there. Okay.
Okay, just one more announcement. Please, if you're alone in the breakout rooms, please just stay there a couple of minutes. There's like 50 breakout rooms, so I see you there alone and I'll assign somebody else to you, and do not come back to the main session if you still want to be in the breakout room, and give me some time. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Okay, so enjoy your practice, and I'm curious to hear your sharings afterwards.
Okay, so I open the rooms now. Is there anybody here now who would still wish to go to the breakout room?
I would love to.
Okay.
I think also Sato.
Okay, so Jun Sato and Misa Miyamoto-san as well. The ones raising hands.
Yeah, good. I'll try. 1 second.
And Iris, did you also want? Yeah, Iris, give me.
Yes.
So I'm seeing there's still about 80 people in this room, so I'm available if you have any questions or comments. Feel free to ask. Use this space here. Neil, did you have a question or did you want to go to a small group?
ブレイクアウトルームの挙手です。
So the Yuka would like to go to a breakout room. Apologies. So one of the hands, the JP person. And then Neil would like to ask a question.
Can you hear me, Iris?
Yes.
Sorry,
Oh.
can I, Yuka wants to go to a breakout room. Oh, she's gone.
That's sorted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now Neil, it's your turn.
It's a bit of a side issue, so feel completely happy, to say it's not appropriate. But I'm wondering whether the nature of Japanese life and upbringing, how suitable it is to NVC. I imagine culturally there are things about, for older Japanese, that may make considering the needs for others or perhaps offering empathy more difficult than in other cultures. Or you could generalize the question to how does NVC, how does NVC vary in how easily it fits into a variety of.
Can you hear Neil? I can't hear him.
Yeah, sure.
I can.
I've finished.
Right. So let me just check if I'm getting your question. So what I'm hearing is the question is there some, let's say, variety in how NVC is transmitted in different cultures? So to speak to the specificities of different countries or cultures, is that your question?
What you said may mean the same thing, but I don't think so. I'm just wondering whether NVC fits as easily into different cultures. Really whether some cultures would struggle to some extent with some of the aspects of NVC.
Yeah. So I cannot speak for Japan. Maybe one of the team members would like to say something. What I can say before we go specifically to Japan is, yeah, that definitely depending on, and even within one culture, for some people it's so unusual to speak about their feelings or to even acknowledge that I do have needs, that's for some people radically new, and in some cultures there's more probability that you meet this kind of set. So yeah, it does take adaptations, and yet I think that the core of NVC, like the speaking from the heart and connecting about what's truly important, that works wherever you go. But I'm curious to hear from the Japanese team of like, how do you see that? I mean, you're hosting an NVC online festival with a lot of people, so I guess it does land, and yet there might be twists that you're applying that we would do in the States differently, maybe. Anyone wanting to speak to that from the team? Yukari?
ドリラさんですかね、ゆかりさん。May I? Or should I?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you for your question, Neil. So thank you so much for putting your thinking in how this is received in Japan society. So yeah, there is this tendency of so we've been educated that you need to prioritize others. So we actually have this sense of shame to put yourself first. And that's been a teaching that we've been receiving a lot since we were young. So valuing yourself can be something that we're not good at or we don't have much practice. So I don't want to stereotype, but I think there's definite a trait of that. So doing something for your family members or doing something for others, something other than yourself. So you work for these, you contribute to these, and then while you investing yourself to those activities, the flip side of that is that we might not have enough experience of receiving from yourself. So connecting with your own needs can be quite challenging. Well, it's been challenging for me, definitely. But unless you connect it to needs, you can't really connect to other people's needs, right? And that's been a great learning that I've been receiving from NVC. I have come to a true understanding that's so true. So I consider myself as like the delivery man for of this NVC message. So we do send out a lot of message like value yourself, connect with yourself. That's been a stronger message of NVC Japan team. And what I'd like to get is your response, actually. And this is my personal interpretation, but how I wonder how this sounded to you or resonated with you, or what's in your mind after hearing this, Neil-san.
Sadly, Yukari, it wasn't until partway through what you said, I realized that somehow or other I had to click back on the English translation, so I only got the tail end. So, I'm sorry. I heard the last bit where you have to, you often tell the group, different members of the group to honor themselves and consider your needs.
Yeah, so your concern, yeah.
Go on.
Well, I can actually try to compactly maybe tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, but then it's unfortunate, but thank you for being honest. And you've so I actually received your really sorry feeling that you couldn't hear. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about the time. If the time allows, maybe I can repeat, but maybe you can hear it from other people, like, from Japan, so that, you can, like, I'd love other people to be talking and then maybe combining the essence that I delivered with your own. Naomi-san, yeah. Hello, Neil. This is Naomi. And so I'm a super beginner of NVC. I'm reading books and then I've started my journey, but I interact with a lot of people who have long been NVC practitioner. And so you have pointed it out that we might be living in this culture of prioritizing others over ourselves. And I think it is really true the first priority is to like contribute to others and to work for yourself. And then Yukari was saying also, but we have this sense of guilt and shame, and it's something to be blamed if you put yourself first. And when you're in this the context for so long, it's really unfortunate that we lack the opportunities to accumulate all this time and effort to be able to really value ourselves and then to connect with ourselves. But it's not, the opposite things, right? You can contribute to others, you can value others while you value yourself, right? But then as a beginner of NVC, that's what I'd like to do. And then I think, the muscle that I need to train more is to express my needs, but first to connect with myself. And then my challenge has been to express my needs to others. And then I think that actually coincides with your concern of our society having this particular trait. Thank you, Naomi, for sharing.
Thank you. Very good.
Thank you. So I see there's another Iris having her hand up. Are you there? And is that a question, Iris? Hi.
Hi, Iris. My name is pronounced Iris, and I am a Chinese medicine therapist in Finland. And I have been so excited to listen all this discussion. And last 4 nights, I studied, for example, emotions, how they are connected to based on a classical text in Chinese medicine, how they are connected to our basic needs and how to express them. And because I live in Finland at the moment, our state situation, political situation is very fragile at the moment. So this non-violent attitude, based on this thinking and acting, it has to be something new way to act. And this is my main interest to follow this, for example, this webinar and these discussions and these ideas. Thank you very much. But it was a surprise for me that you also are Iris. I didn't know. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that for you, NVC and whatever is connected to that seems to be a new way or a different way of dealing with, also current issues with finding a way of living that contributes, and that's life-serving. That's how Marshall Rosenberg puts it, right? Life-serving rather than disconnecting or separating.
Yes, I find I have known this method many years, but I'm not that active, in that community. But I always find some new ideas how to connect and integrate to my Chinese way of thinking. And because it is normal in Japan and in China, but it is not normal in Europe. Thank you
for sharing. So in about 15 seconds, the others will come back and then we'll have a round of sharing. Oh, and Hilda, your hand is up. I don't know if that's still from before or just no. Okay, let me see if I can put it down.
Sorry, that was because I thought I had to put up my hand if I wanted to go to a breakout room, but since it hasn't happened, it's okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm taking it down now.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. All right, everybody's back, and I'm curious. We've got about 5 minutes to hear again 2 or 3 voices. I'm curious to hear how did that go? How was that? to...
Iris, can I make a quick announcement about people need to go into the interpretation channel again after coming back from breakout room?
Oh, I forgot.
日本の人は、もう一度ブレイクアウトルームから帰ってきたら、日本のチャンネルを選んでください。And for those who speak English, please choose English channel again. When you went to breakout room, you automatically got off the channel. もう一度チャンネルに、通訳チャンネルに入り直してください。Yeah, all good.
Okay, thank you. Right, so I hope now everyone is hearing me in the right language. So yeah, we've got a few minutes to share, and again, I'm curious if you'd be willing to share how was that experience for you to be in this embracing space to just allow whatever there is. Osamu, raised your hand. Thank you. How was your experience? Please unmute yourself so we can hear you. Osamu?
はい。はい。ですね、この。
Right, thank you. So the questions the guide had, so what's alive within you? Can you actually allow it to stay there? So these are phrases that, that I've been asked. So this was in the form of questions. And I kept thinking that my answer wouldn't be yes. So I got a little bit confused because that I was kept I was asked these questions. So what I'm sharing right now. Yeah, so I have this question. So you actually suggested those questions to be in the question forms, right? Rather than the person saying that just stay with what's within you. Why were these in a question form? Because I kept thinking, well, if I'm to answer these questions, then my answer would be no.
Right. Yeah, thank you for pointing this out. That is sometimes a trap, that the mind thinks now it's a question, so I need to answer it. And rather than seeing it as an invitation. So how, it's an invitation, and can you allow it to be there? And maybe the inner response is no. And then again, can you allow that no? Can you stay with the no? Can you stay with a resistance that might be there? So, but I'm hearing that it's probably the thinking mind that got a bit confused. Oh, it's a question, so I need to answer it, rather than receiving it as an invitation to dive into it.
Okay. So he's making this sound of digesting what you just said. Okay, I see.
Okay.
Yes to no.
So we should be allowing ourselves to be getting lost in between yes and no. We should embrace the us being in the between yes and no, and being at a total loss.
It depends a bit what connotation you put to the get lost. But in a way, yes, it's beyond yes or no. Can you allow it? Yes, finish. Can you allow it? No, finish. But hey, yeah, so if I receive that question, what happens in me? It's more of an observing. it could, in a positive sense, it's getting lost. I sometimes enjoy myself getting lost. But if it's for you, oh my God, I'm lost, then that's not what I mean. But it's, yeah, kind of floating and watching, oh, what's happening if I'm asked that? Is there resistance? Is there openness? Does that make sense?
I see. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have Taiko and then Kuni.
Hi, Iris.
Right. So this is Taiko.
They're speaking Japanese.
So today, this session, so the name Robert came up several times in the last 90 minutes. And actually, the name really moved something within me. There's this, I first thought it's a nostalgic feeling, but I stayed with that, what seemed nostalgic. And then I started feeling little like stinging. I felt this little stinging of pain, but I stayed with that. And then there's something powerful started flowing around my chest after that biting. And then I don't know what that dynamic flow is, but I would like to keep embracing and then feeling the flow. And it's just so nice that his name really started that within me.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it sounds like definitely there's something connected to the name that's precious and it doesn't have a name yet. So just by allowing, maybe it does not get a name, but it sounds like you just want to explore it and hold it with compassion and care. Thank you. Right, so we have Kuni and then we're gonna close our meeting here with a few announcements. Can you please unmute yourself? Yes.
Hi.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you, Iris, and everybody. So at the beginning, I was really finding it to be interesting that my bodily experiences changed. And it started with the shoulder ache, but it got lightened. And then someone being with me while me being totally focused on myself, that was such a rare experience, and that was really interesting experience. And my body felt his body becoming warmer while observing me looking into myself. That was really interesting too.
Wow, well, thank you. It sounds like it's a really new experience to, first of all, to look into yourself, but then also being witnessed by someone else. Thank you. All right, thank you for sharing. We're gonna still have a few announcements from the team, and before that, I'd like to thank you all for joining this. It's such a pleasure and honor to also know that there's so many people around the globe who are still vibrating with Robert's work and we're willing to continue it. And I think together we can really keep this compassionate vibes alive and spread it even further. And I'm so happy and grateful to everyone who joined and then the team who invited me and gave that space. So thank you very much. And I'm passing on to the team for your final announcements.